Hi Annie, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, hi Beth and Charity's back. This is awesome. Got
Yes.
some
Hi, everyone.
awesome women artists on stage, so in the room.
Yes.
Yes. Um, yeah, so how was your weekend, Annie?
Uh, Great. You, I have this thing where if you ask me about my weekend, I actually can't remember what I did, so I just say great because
Yeah.
I can't remember right away. Like I have to like really think about it, but I'm sure it was great.
Yeah, it was Thanksgiving, so I kind of count that as the weekend, you know?
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? Okay, so that was a good hint. So yes, for Thanksgiving, I we rode up on our motorcycle from Los Angeles to Ojai to
Nice.
visit with my newly discovered cousin Jen
Ooh.
Pasteloff, who's a best-selling author. She wrote a book called Being Human. Anyway, we didn't know of each other until 3 years ago, until a mutual cousin said, "Hey, you have a cousin around the same age. You guys like all the same things. You're both writers, and you live near each other."
That is so cool, and similar interests too, so there's gotta be some DNA there, you know?
So cool! It's so cool. So yeah, now we're pals. I'm going up again this weekend. What about you? What'd you do?
I took my girlfriend and my 2 kids, and we drove to Connecticut, and I visited my mom and my sister. I got the booster, so I felt a little bit better going out, and seeing people.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
so
Good,
it's
good, good. Did you have any effects after?
Honestly, like, I feel okay, but you know what's weird? I have like a little bit of joint pain since then.
Huh.
And
Okay.
I think that's just like my immune response. Like I did the Johnson and Johnson, the one and done. That
Oh,
wasn't really the one and done for the first
okay.
one. And
Yeah.
then I mixed with the Pfizer. So it's like because they let you do that if you did the
Yes.
Johnson Johnson. So I did like now I have like double, maybe it's like double, immunity or something. Maybe that's supposed to be good, but yeah, so just a little weird joint pain and just but that's my immune system. That just means it's working and it goes into overdrive.
Sure.
So
Yeah, it'll pass. It'll pass.
yeah, usually like but after my first one or whatever, it was like a couple weeks. So anyway, our topic, and I asked Annie, what if there's something that she would want to talk about, and she said art breaks and taking an art break, which I think is a great topic. Well, I'll let some people be speakers soon. But like, yeah, well, whenever soon. Yeah. Oh, looks like Charity's already a speaker. And I thought that was so cool because I was thinking the same. So yeah, what made you think of that, Annie?
Well, it's funny. I think what made me think of it honestly is maybe it's something I was feeling I needed to maybe do because I don't take a lot of breaks and it's just because I don't really want to. Like I just get very into what I'm doing and I want to just keep creating, but I don't think that's very good for me, and I don't think it's very good for my brain. And as we've talked about this, I've
Mhm.
the ADHD, and I'm forgetting
Mhm.
more things than ever. And
Mhm.
my whole not understanding time has gotten worse. So,
Mhm.
and I'm a lifelong meditator, but I kind of slacked off and realized I cannot do that. I cannot not take time off, even if it's just uh, getting back into a meditation routine because we need those breaks. We need to like put air in the tire. I can't like run on flats. No one can.
Right. I like that. I like that. And actually, like, I was a quote from. Do you know the author Annie Lamont? She wrote a
Of
book, Bird
course,
by Bird.
that
Yeah.
Bird by Bird is one of my all-time favorite books of
Awesome.
ever.
It's a
Yes,
good one. It's a good one. But yeah, she said almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you.
including yourself. Yes, that's
I was
one of
like,
the best.
yeah. So yeah,
Absolutely. So that's why I thought of it. I guess feeling that I needed to, and now if only I can just really give myself permission to. But if I take an art break, then I go and I write, or I go work on an audition, or I go do something else. So I guess the real thing is to take breaks when you feel you need it, and to really listen to yourself and try not to get just caught up in the momentum of things until you crash.
Right. Right. Anybody who's a speaker could just cut in anytime if they got something to say. Yeah, but do you feel, because I used to feel like guilt for taking breaks because I feel like there's like this culture, it's a cultural thing, maybe it's a
Uh-huh.
toxic cultural thing that
Uh-huh.
like your values like connected to your productivity, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Sure.
had to kind of get over that. And
Yeah.
I had periods where I didn't make art and I felt kind of shitty, that I didn't
Yeah.
make art. Like, why aren't I making art? What's why, you know?
Right. It's like, who am I if I don't do?
Right.
Uh,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I never thought of it as guilt so much as just like I don't know what to do with myself. Well, I have a lot of restlessness. I think that's what that is for me, because it feels more like, well, if I'm, I, I don't know what to do with myself if I'm not making something.
Yeah, right. Same here.
Yes.
And shout out to my friend Michelle who made it today. She's an awesome abstract painter. If you ever want to speak, you could just request to speak. There's like a little thing, like a little button you can request if you're new to spaces.
Yes. Oh, and
And
Sarah is here, and she's a poet, a published poet, a brilliant poet,
awesome.
and she's in Canada.
We
Hi.
we love
It's so
poets.
fun. Yes. So there she is saying hi. And so, what about you, Sparkle Butts? What do you do to what do
Like
you do to take your time out?
oh my gosh. Well, I learned after like a while of doing this, like if I take a break, first of all, I have to ask myself, why do I need a break? And be more intentional about it because if I don't set the intention while I'm taking the break, I probably will have a harder time getting started
Mm.
after. So I have to ask myself, why do I need a break?
Ah,
Is there a lack of motivation? Is there a lack of inspiration? And how can I fix that? Or maybe I'm just burnt out. And if you're just burnt out, yes, take a break. It's like there should be a flow chart. Maybe we should make a
yeah.
flow chart.
Okay. Why don't we design one? Let's you and
Yes,
I design one.
yes, I think we should. Let's do
Okay.
it.
I have no idea what it would look like, but whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yes. Yes. Does anybody else have anything? Has anybody taken any art breaks or has in the past?
Hi, ladies. I'm Sarah from Canada, the poet.
Yay! Hi, Sarah, the
Yay.
poet from Canada. I'm so happy you're
Hi,
here. Oh my
hi,
God.
Annie. It's this is so fortuitous because I've been asked to write a blog post about rest for writers. Yes,
Oh,
and I came upstairs to work on my piece, and I went on social media as one does when they're supposed to be writing.
of course.
And I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, I should listen to this instead of write because it's going to give me fodder for this, better than fodder.
Yeah,
um,
amazing. Oh, this is meant
yeah.
to be. Perfect.
Totally. And I
And
just wanted to
yeah.
say in some of my research that I've done, I find it so interesting because I relate to you about the guilt part. And I find it so interesting, Annie, that for you it's less guilt and more restlessness that keeps you
Mhm.
running.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how do you know really when to stop?
Yeah, it's a great question that I have yet to answer for myself. But I do tell myself, if I see myself like I'm getting a little chaotic and like dropping things,
Mhm.
and I don't know, if I just notice that I'm a little too spazzy for my liking, I take a pause because I'm afraid I'll hurt myself, which people do a lot when they are not in their body, and
Mhm.
so I take a pause and I say I connect to whatever I'm with, and I love mindfulness. I was really into it after my mom died. I went on a silent retreat. I wrote about it for the Huffington Post, and I just wrote so many articles about. I was so into the mindfulness thing, and then I just kind of forgot about it and got mindless, I guess. And so it's really I need to connect back into that because I just if we're not all together here, then what the hell are we doing anything for? I mean, we have to take care of ourselves, obviously.
One of the interesting pieces from reading all of this stuff about creativity and work, two things that really popped in my head was that I'm going to include in that little blog post is one is that this modern day theory that rest and work are not related, where in fact they're intrinsically connected and they're
Mm,
right.
yeah.
And then the other thing too, that has escaped my head right now. So, oh, it's that kind of like what you said about the like you have to put air back in the tire. You can't run on flats, and it's something that we know, but we have science that's now proving this, and yet we still hold on to this notion. I don't know if it is from. I don't know if it's a capitalism thing or if it's what I don't really know where it comes from. But yeah, this idea that the guilt associated with it, or that, yeah, you're not, even though we know it's good for us and science is backing it up, that we need to take daily breaks, but also time away from our work in order to have clarity and perspective and
Yes,
energy to be our most productive selves. We still
absolutely.
fight it. We still
I
fight it.
don't know. Yeah, it's something. It's some. Maybe it is cultural partly because, like, my husband's from Italy, and we spend a month to a few months every year to see his family and all of that. And when we're there, it is a very different kind of life, and it's not because we're on vacation, because it's really, it's not like that. So we see how everyone is living and how he grew up, and it is a different, you live to live, and then you do whatever it is that you do to work. But I think it's something else when we love what we do, like we all do. We're all artists in one way or the other. And so, I mean, I adore everything I do. I don't want to stop. It doesn't feel like work, it feels like play and joy. So, but I still have to stop because I know that at least pause. But there are places like Google and things like that where they have nap rooms, So I guess people are figuring it out, because a lot of people are taking naps now that didn't used to. My husband's a great napper. I cannot sleep during the day. I don't know. It really depends on what's going on inside of you as well, I guess. So I don't know if I could just blame the culture, because that does seem to be changing, like you said. The science is in. But does anyone here nap? Because some of the greats napped. That's supposed to be an amazing, thing to do. That's the ultimate rest.
I wish I could nap. My girlfriend naps every day. It's
Yep,
ridiculous how long she naps for, but I just like have to meditate, and I can't. I physically have a hard time falling asleep, and I
me
think
too.
that's the ADHD.
That's 100% for me too. We have
But
we have the same diagnosis.
yes,
Diagnosis.
yes.
Yes.
Like the same high energy need to do
Yes.
something at all times.
Yes.
But usually around, I would say about 2 o'clock or something, I
Yeah.
just plop and I just breathe and I just
Okay.
meditate for like 20 minutes. And
Good for you. Oh, that's
that kind of
wonderful.
puts my brain together. I actually had a thought because today I was picking my daughter up from for track team. She's in high school and now she's doing all this running and stuff, which I never really was into. But we were talking about. She said, "I'm a sprinter. I'm not like a marathon runner." And I was
Yeah.
like, and then I started thinking about it with the art, and I was just like, well, maybe you can use that like as a metaphor. Like maybe you're more of a marathon runner and you do a little bit at a time, or maybe you
Right.
do bursts, and then you need a break and then you do another burst.
Yeah. I like what you're saying, because what you're saying is, there is no one cookie cutter way to be a creative and to make it work for you and to find balance. Maybe you are better at doing the marathon, and maybe you're better at the sprints, like you say. And I like that, because that just opens things up to, like, what it is, however it is that you find it to fit for you. Make it work for you. Just acknowledge that we do need rest. That's all.
Right. Right. And I actually like have to write it in my calendar. This is so bad. This is like the ADHD in me. I have to
Yep.
be like hyper organized. So for
Yep.
the next day, I always write down what I want to do. And when I
Yep.
want to paint, I write paint. So
Yep.
I make sure I paint. And then I have to give myself breaks on Sundays. I'm usually not on social media at all, like from
Good.
Saturday afternoon through Sunday. I'm not. And I only paint on the weekends if I'm feeling it. So,
Yes. And does
so
anybody else here, do you take social media breaks? Like, is that something that you've found helpful?
are you asking everybody?
Yeah, anyone,
Yeah.
just anyone.
I would love to answer that. I took
Yeah.
the summer off of social media. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was amazing. I called it my summer of 69,
Nice.
and it's in homage to Brian Adams' song. And you guys, I felt like I don't even know how to explain it. One thing is I found it very difficult to get back into it. That was interesting.
Wow.
It was completely out of my wheelhouse of like automatic things to do.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and in fact, here up here in Canada, we're having a real um, moment of truth and reconciliation with our First Nations people here because of I don't know if you know, but there was all these unmarked graves found at residential schools.
No. What? No, I don't know
Hmm.
about this.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. For decades, First Nations people have been talking about this, and nobody has listened. And then these unmarked graves were found in a school in Kamloops in BC, and they're everywhere now. They really are everywhere. And so it's been a real reckoning. And I thought, if I'm going to get off social media, and with all that time away from it, I'm going to read books only from First Nations authors. And I read so much this summer, and it was just the most amazing experience. I felt like, and yet here I am back on social media. But I don't know.
Listen,
I
a
definitely,
whole summer though.
yeah.
I'm so impressed. I'm part envious, part happy for you, and part impressed, and probably other parts I can't name yet. But I think it's amazing. I have written. I have a blog on Medium, so I'm writing about what it is to not do. The act of not doing, and to taking breaks, and all of this stuff that I believe in and feel and yet struggle with at the same time. And one of them is this idea to not be connected to technology as much as I am, and to all of the things. Yeah, I remember the 90s, and I remember how it felt to just be in the world, and I liked it, but I also like this, and I don't know, it's hard. It's
I
hard.
like I like the idea of taking the weekends off, because I do find it's a slippery slope. It's like, you go back on, and I hear what you're saying, Annie, that it is a lovely thing. Like, I mean, you and I have been able to stay connected through social media,
Yes,
and it's been beautiful. And so there's good to it, and then there's also that slippery slope of it can get too much. And
absolutely.
so just being really, like you said, mindful about it. I guess that
Yeah.
mindfulness is the key. Yeah, but I do love that idea of the weekends off. I think I'm going to start that.
Yeah, maybe I can try a day. I mean, when I went on the Vipassana retreat, there was no speaking, there was no phones, there was none of it, and so that was absolute magic. And when I came home, I held that in me for quite some time, maybe the whole year. I felt it. I felt like just so connected and calm, and it really did work for me. But just like anything else, when you don't continue to do it, it can just kind of vanish and disappear. Don't use it, you lose it. And so I kind of lost it, but I can get it back. That feeling of peace.
Right. I think
Yeah.
I think like recent, not this year, but like after the year before that or something, I really wasn't on Twitter much at all. And I kind of was like, why aren't I on Twitter? I should be, but I just didn't have the bandwidth for social media. So I mean, there's times that you do and there's times that you don't. So,
And then there's the practical side. I mean, this we sell our art, we sell our books. We want to stay connected in that way, and this is all the advertising and all the marketing that we have to do all for ourselves.
Right.
And maybe we don't even want to. I rather
Mhm.
not, but it's here. It's what we got to use. Yeah. So I don't know. We're all in the same boat here.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, another thing with the art breaks is I always think of my art breaks is sometimes like I during these breaks, I'm just like being a sponge and I'm like soaking up new ideas. So I feel like
Mm.
by doing nothing, I'm doing something, and that's how I justify doing nothing.
Beautiful. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. That's fantastic what you just said, Lisa. And that reminds me of something. A friend of ours who's a really successful novelist. He told his wife, I think at one point, or someone said when he was sitting on the hammock, they were saying, "You're not writing. What are you doing all day? Like not all day, but you're there for an hour sitting on the hammock or something like this." And he said, "You." He tried to explain to her, "You don't understand. I am working. Being on the hammock and not looking at my computer is working." I mean, he's it's not just a break, but it's also a time when the ideas can come to you, not when you're trying to like chase them and force them, you
Mhm.
know. So, yes, it's actually essential.
Right, that's
And
what artists do. Who's gonna
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm in full agreement there. I feel like
Yeah.
even if I'm not
Yeah.
creating or writing or painting or performing, I'm making it up in my mind and it's the same thing.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it's like a different way of doing the same thing, and it's necessary. It's as necessary as sleep.
It is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally, totally agree. So I don't know. Do we have any tips like how to notice when? Well, like I notice when I start getting sloppy that I need to take a time out.
Mm.
Um,
I was just going to mention one of the things for this blog that I'm looking at is one of the things I was reading was to know your energetic, like your own energy, like the flow of your energy, I
mm,
guess, your creative flow. So to work in rest and to work in production around those times. And that really stuck for me because I think I've been doing that. So I'm just in the tail end of my book. I'm doing substantive editing with the publishing editor. And I decided, you know what? I need every morning not to sit down at my desk as the first thing. Absolutely not. The first thing I need to do after I send my kids off to school is to have time on by myself for myself, and I go for a run or I go for a workout, and then I come and sit at my desk, and that's considered rest away from work, right?
yes, yes,
And yeah, so like things like that, or knowing like at 3 o'clock there's a lull of your energy and what to do with it. Like you were saying, your husband is really a good napper. So is my husband. And it's like this just automatic, like he knows, and he just like closes his computer and goes to sleep. And
yeah,
then he's up 20 minutes later and
yep.
he's productive.
Yep, after lunch, it's that
Hmm.
it's the also an Italian thing, the riposare.
Hmm.
After you eat, you go and you take that rest. Yeah,
Hmm.
he does it every day, and I swear I think it's fantastic, and you can see how it really reinvigorates you. But then if yours is exercise or
Hmm.
meditation like Lisa, and whatever it is, maybe having a cup of tea, a mindful cup of tea, whatever it
Hmm.
is, if we could just take that time for ourselves midday when we feel it, that could be really helpful to our overall well-being and to our art.
Yeah, and really good for your sustainable a
Yes.
creative life, like a sustainable work life and work life
Yes.
balance. So sort of being in attuned to your energetic needs and creating your workspace around that, I think it would be ideal.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Exactly.
Hmm.
And you know what? And even having the conversations like this, like when we're done here, this could somehow be in our subconscious and throughout our days following. Everyone who's on this in this space might even think about it more than we would have normally because we have this talk. So just being aware, really, awareness.
Hmm. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Awareness is key. Awareness is key. Does anyone want to? We have 5 minutes left. Does anyone want to share what they're working on now and where we can see more of whatever it is you're working on, creating? It doesn't have to be visual art. Doesn't matter.
Trying to give
Lisa,
everyone, yeah,
you
I'm
go.
just trying to give everyone a thing. Well, today I finished a commission. I
Okay,
told
great.
myself I'm all done with my commissions. I'm all cut up. I can breathe. And then somebody asked me to do another one like right after, and I was
Oh,
like,
fantastic.
oh, and I wanted to be like, I want to do art for me, but then it was just a sad song. It was the sad story about this puppy, who died.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, I gotta do something for them real quick, even if it's just like a little something. And but anyways, yeah. So I'm working on, finishing up my commissions, mailing them out this week, and then gearing up to doing more painting just for me. So I'm really
excellent.
excited about that. Yeah, I
Well,
got my spray
congrats on
paints.
that.
Thank
Yay.
you. Spray paints. I got my heart stencils I'm carving out, and got some new colors coming in the mail. So excited about that.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I like what Sarah said about like exercise. I sometimes need to do that because when things are getting stagnant, if let's say I'm trying to paint and it's just like I'm starting to get a slump, but sometimes it's not even just meditating. Sometimes I need to move and I'll just take a
Yes.
little walk, and then the ideas will flow, and
Yes.
then the energy will flow. So, yeah, I like that.
Totally. Absolutely. Well, that's great. And congrats again on those commissions. That's fantastic. I mean,
Thank
I know it's
you.
not like your the pride and joy of your
Right?
being, but it's money and whatever.
It
It's
is.
still you're still creating. Um, so for me, I guess my biggest thing art wise is I started a new Instagram account just for my art. So it's artist Annie Wood. So it's at artist Annie Wood. And so I don't have a lot of followers and I'm looking for more because I'd love to build that up. Thank you. Thank you for that. So yeah, so just and I gotta tell you, it freed me up a lot because now on my other account, Annie Wood World, I'm like just having more fun. I'm like, okay, here's some photos out going around, riding around in Los Angeles. Here's some this. Here's some popcorn from Trader Joe's that I really love. So, so
I
I,
love that popcorn.
it's so good. That truffle popcorn, everyone must get it. Trader Joe's. You're welcome. Yeah. So, and then this weekend I'm going back to my cousin Jen's. She's doing some outdoor, kind of in Ojai's, with people selling their things. I'm gonna bring some of my big pieces and several of my small pieces. See if I can sell some art Saturday. Wish me luck. And and I'm currently on a virtual book tour for my young adult novel, Just a Girl in the Whirl, and that's a lot of fun. They interview me or they ask like really fun questions. Some of these tours actually, and I've been putting the tour stop links on anniewood.com. There's a button there that says tour stops or book tour. So, and I'm giving away a giveaway gift card. Amazon gift card is part of this whole tour and all that. So sign up, go read my stuff. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm up to.
That's awesome. Does anybody else have anything they want to share real quick before we head out? Or
I'm working on a podcast with a dear friend of mine in New York, but we won't be really launching it
Ooh.
till February, but it's a blast and it's based on a novel I've been working on for about 10 years. So I'm very excited about it.
What's it called?
The podcast is going to be
Yeah.
called An Alternate World.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's sort of about alternate realities, dimensions, things like that. But it's kind of a love story. This group of people that are on Earth trying to find each other from like this other world. It's pretty cool. But we're
Oh,
having a
I
lot
love
of fun
wait,
with
so
it.
it's a fiction
It's
podcast? I love
yes,
those.
yeah.
Oh, will
So
you
yeah,
will you
it's so
remember
fun.
to tweet it at us or somehow let us know when it's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yes. Once we launch it, it'll be all over the place and I will share it
Okay.
with you all. But
Okay.
it's been like night and day. Like I can't even, we're thinking about art breaks. I'm like, it is so important. I'm glad you all reminded me because I never even stop working, but I never notice I'm working. And I don't know if other artists are like that. Like, I'm working again.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So
Yay.
thank you for the reminder.
Excellent. All right.
Bravo. Oh, Beth's
Yeah.
coming on. Beth, did you have something to say? How's it going? Wait,
Oh, are you there?
gotta unmute your mic.
Hello.
Hi, Beth.
Hello.
Hi, I was just going to say, sometimes when I feel like I need a break, or a short one, I created a sanctuary in my backyard and inside the house when it's cold in the winter. And it really refuels you to kind of hang out in a place like that and meditate. So I don't know if any of you have something like that you can turn to.
I love that. I actually have a hammock in the front yard and that's where I go. But yours sounds ideal and beautiful. But yes, creating an outdoor space, absolutely 100%. That's beautiful. I love that. I want to come visit.
Anytime.
That's awesome. So
Anyone else? All right. All right. Well,
great.
this was great. I felt like this was just wonderful. It'll help me. I hope it helps others to just remind, keep it in our head somewhere that it's very important to take those timeouts for ourselves, to care for ourselves and for our creations.
Yes, and thank you. This was so uplifting.
Thank
It's
you.
always
It really
nice
was.
to, nice to
Yeah.
Very
have these
good.
short little chats. So yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be back next week. So
Love it.
Yes. All right, everyone. Take care. Keep creating.
all right.
See ya.
Have a
Bye.
good one.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Beth.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.